Now, on another matter, when a nominee finds himself in trouble, it's interesting to note how people react. It's in particularly notable in the case of President Biden's radical pick for the Third Circuit Court of Appeals. I've spoken many times about Mr. Mangi, first to lay out his highly troubling affiliations with a center that promoted anti-Semitism and Islamic terror, then to explain his equally disturbing affiliation with those who would enable cop killers. We've received letter after letter from Jewish organizations and police groups expressing their outrage at this nomination. The hurt they express is particularly palpable. But Democrats have gone into overdrive to keep this foundering pick. They've breathlessly invoked his religious identity, continuing their recent practice of asserting that demographics alone are a sufficient reason to justify life tenure on the federal bench. And they've shaken the bushes for new letters of support, and the results have been interesting, to say the least. One came from Muslims for Progressive Values, MPV. This came as no surprise, given that Mr. Mangi served on their board as recently as 2020. Basic research into the organization makes me wonder what he ever did to deserve such an endorsement. For example, MPV has called on the UN to monitor domestic law enforcement tactics due to systemic racism. They've recommended viewing a video with an anti-racism expert who suggests that a notorious cop killer was an innocent political prisoner. MPV's social media showcases post after post describing Israel's response to Hamas as genocide and accusing Israel of war crimes. It's nothing less than a sustained opposition against an American ally. Republicans presented evidence that Mr. Mangi aligns himself with anti-Israel radicals and supporters of cop killers. His defenders responded with an indignant letter from an organization of anti-Israel radicals who support cop killers. Mr. Mangi's nomination is in a quicksand of radicalism. The more the Biden administration struggles to save it, the more radicalism pulls it down. Contrast this with Mr. Mangi's law firm. While his extremist friends from his radical boards are doubling down on their support, Mr. Mangi's elite firm seems to be saying, quote, "Not so fast, he doesn't speak for us," end quote. During the Judiciary Committee investigation into this nominee, they found that his firm is a listed sponsor of a law fellowship at the same anti-Semitic center at Rutgers that Mr. Mangi advised. But now, a look at the center's website will show that the law firm's name has been removed. Indeed, the firm confirmed to the Judiciary Committee that it asked to be removed after learning about the center's outrageous activities. The firm said, having had the opportunity to review the center's activities, it will not continue to support. Traditional liberals are distancing themselves from Mr. Mangi while radicals embrace him. The Senate should reject it.